Alright, it's time to check it out! LittleGPTracker has a relatively new release, but when trying to find this release, I realized that I've been calling this tracker LittleGPTracker, but this might be an old name. I think it's currently being developed as Piggy Tracker. Very quickly, for those who don't know, it's a completely free and open source music tracker, music making software, and the developers claim that it can run on pretty much any platform. I'm going to be using Miu Mini, which is a handheld retro gaming console. It has Onion OS installed. This release is not stable yet as far as I can tell. The stable release will be 1.6.0 once that's available, but this version unlocks a very interesting feature that I want to try. A slicer mode is now decoupled from the looping mode. Historically, it was part of the looping modes. It was regular loop, ping-pong loop, some others, and slicer. Now, slicer is a completely different parameter, which is independent from looping modes, which in theory allows you to be in a slicer mode and use looping modes for the slices. This could be interesting. I want to check it out. The installation is fairly straightforward. Remove the SD card from the handheld, connect it to the computer, copy projects in one directory, samples into another one, and the actual app into a third one. I already have the projects and the samples directory, so I'm just replacing the app files. That should be it. The card goes back into the handheld. Okay, moment of truth. It works. Fantastic. Let's create a new project. Name. Here you are again, damn it. As soon as I'm trying to have fun, you show up with the need to label everything. Can I just work on it first and then label later? Nope. You've got to do it now. But I don't know what I'll be working on yet. It's supposed to mean something. Come on. Everyone knows it's nonsense that you'll pull out of your ass. Just pick something. But it's like telling someone to choose the label of who they are. A content creator, a musician, a parent, a pizza aficionado. Well, labeling is a lossy compression. Don't sweat it. The same thought train again. Obsessive personality. I have to ditch it. Hopefully landing gracefully, so that no one noticed anything weird. We'll pick random. Doesn't matter. I usually leave chain 00 empty, and I like to start with chain number 10 on track number 1. And I want to go straight to the new feature to see if it's working for me. Okay, I just realized that before I do anything, I should probably change the tempo. I want it to be slower this time. Looks like 60 is the slowest. I think I'll go with 80, slow enough. Okay. Slices. Okay, what do we have here? Slices start with C-2, so I'll go to C-2 and... Oh nice, it now gives you a preview of what's about to play. Turns out it's quite hard to work on something and talk about it. We'll do a voiceover. Changing the pitch so that it worked together, even though I got rid of the first part eventually. Never forgetting to save the project. I think it's time for something else. This gets me thinking about a fishing village in Southern Europe. Very nice. Okay, don't like this one. This is probably the best demo of what various looping modes together with the slicer are doing. Adding another guitar part and trying to match pitches. Also, I wish someone could help me delete the autofocus thing on my camera, as I seem to struggle turning it off. very wobbly, just like the randomly picked track name suggests. I like how the bass part changes slightly here, but it stays the same. Okay, I think I'm done for today. Hello, day number 2. Probably need some drums. The main thing is not to get stuck at the drum sound selection stage. Moving along. It should work, I hope. Of course, percussion. Again, looping. Notice how I played with the length of the sample. Interesting results with ping-pong looping mode. More drums. Making the kick hit even deeper. A bit of a pluck sound within the drum track. Of course, the pitch needs to be just right. It's time for the arrangement work. Won't make you watch this. I think what I want to do is to create a table or a bunch of tables that will slowly close the filter, and I think I will apply these tables to these chains, or rather create new chains utilizing the table, so that each time the next row is playing, it is gradually closing the filter. In here I will... Oh, there you go. That's very nice. So now, when I'm trying to select the new effects to be applied to a specific step, this pop-up shows up showing all different effects available, which is very nice. You don't need to guess and scroll through all of them. You can see them on the screen. So what I want to do is table 00, down to the table, filter. Okay, the first 2 digits are cut off, the last 2 digits are resonant. So I don't really want to do anything with resonance. All I want to do is to apply some cutoff. It goes all the way up to FF. This is completely open filter. Table 00 will close the filter to BF or something. I don't know. Well, let's see. Let's try it. I messed it up, didn't I? Forgot to copy it. It's supposed to be 81, so this one looks fine. This one doesn't, because now it's utilizing the table. Okay, more manual work. Looking at how this moves here, it looks like the table is applying each of these parameters to one of the ticks, and each step has 6 ticks. It still works for me, but it's not what I expected. And I think in order for this table to correspond to every single step in the sequencer, I'd have to go into the instrument page and select automation true, and then specify which table. Then each step would follow the instruction in this table. If I want to make sure that it doesn't start playing from the beginning, I need to go into 00 and make sure that it has a chain of 4 patterns in it, because everything else is following the same patterns. The last few rows. To end the whole thing, I usually create something very far away, like FE. It will contain zeros, it doesn't matter, but then I'll have one pattern FE, which will be pretty much empty, except for a stop. It will stop immediately playing everything. Once it reaches this position in this chain over here, it will stop everything and won't start from the beginning. I'm gonna save now. The only thing that I don't like, starting from here up to here, it looks like nothing is really changing. Why don't I just get rid of them? Yeah, this part switches to something else, which will be slightly annoying in post-production because I'll have to separate the first half of this track and the second half of this track into separate tracks within Ableton so that I could process and EQ them differently because it's completely different instruments. This is the only way how you can go around the limitation of 8 tracks in the tracker. Also, what I noticed is that at the end, when the part ends, because of the ping pong and slicer mode, I don't know, maybe because of this, but something weird is happening and I kind of like it. I don't know what is going on, but I like it, so I'll keep it like that. In the worst case scenario, I'll fix it in post. Also, what's interesting is to play with this section which is called Transpose and also different scale. So I couldn't quite figure out how they work. Let's try it. Actually, I like it. As I mentioned before, I couldn't quite get it working, even though sometimes there could be interesting effects. I think I could generate almost like a remix just by changing this value. There are 2 options for rendering. Stereo, it will generate one file with all the tracks combined, or there's stems, which will hopefully export each track as a separate file, which you can process separately in DAW, something like Ableton. To start rendering, you need to go back to the beginning and click Start. What I've noticed is that if you do anything with the keyboard while it's doing the rendering, it will break it. I'll be very careful to hit start when it played everything, but before it reached that stop trigger. After spending a few hours over the next few days, I think I was happy with how it turned out. I did some cleanup in Ableton, primarily EQ, phase correction, and stereo imaging. A little bit of saturation. And the reverb, I think, is what makes it feel alive. I don't know. Unfortunately, MIUI Mini doesn't have the ability to work with reverb on the device, even though the software has it. Then compression to glue the parts together, and limiting to add loudness and character. I want to thank everyone who watched this video up till this point. I hope you learned something new, or at least were a little entertained. Okay, over and out.